Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming and joining us again. I would love to welcome back Ron Zelensky. We're doing a little update. Last time we spoke was like a little over a month, right, Ron? Welcome back.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
So, I guess let's start with the question of where you're at right now. I understand you're still in Texas. It's a long way out of Texas, and it's going to take you, what, a couple of months?
2.5 months to get through Texas. It took us 3 months to get through Florida because
Wow.
Florida was longer because we went through the Keys, then
Mhm.
all the way up the West Coast, and then through the Panhandle. So it was like a huge sea.
Wow. Wow. And the temperature and all that is a time change and all that is obviously
Oh yeah,
gonna
yeah. It
affect you.
ranges. We're going to be going through a time change soon. We'll lose another hour, and the weather varies from like in the high teens to the 80s.
Wow, that's the fluctuation.
Yeah, well, because in the morning it's cool. And at one point in Texas, we had a freeze. So we went through snow. And then the roads, they shut down towns here because they don't have road crews to sand the highways and people don't have snow tires. So
Oh my,
when it snows here, they shut it down basically.
wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, so that was interesting. And then, like I said, the temperature fluctuation is huge because when it's in the afternoon. Right now, this morning it was in the 40s, but with the wind blowing, it makes it feel like it's in the 30s. And then the sun is blasting right now. So inside the camper, it's warm, but outside there, it's in the 40s. And then the wind, like I said, helps chill it off quite a bit.
Wow. So how's been your walking experience from the last time we spoke?
Well, it's neat. What I've experienced for the first time was a sandstorm in the desert. We're walking through Marfa, Texas, and that's where they have a film fest. So that's what makes that town. It's kind of like an artsy place.
Mm.
And I'm walking out of Marfa, and I think I see fog. Like what I'm used to up north. I
Hmm.
think I see fog, and I'm like, how can there be fog out here? It's bone dry. And I'm got my eyes open, and I'm looking, and I'm walking into the wind because the wind is coming out of the west, and we're going west. So I'm looking at it, figuring I'm going to get like a spray of moist air, and it blinded me because it was sand and dust. And then the wind picked up in the 40s, so I turned around and was walking backwards so I could see,
Wow.
and so that the wind didn't blow me over. And the next day was even windier, so we didn't walk because the next day it was in the 50, it was like 50 to 60 miles an hour. And the wind's just blowing you all. It blew our camper all over.
Oh
It
boy.
was rocking, and we had it on the stilts and everything. So that was a neat experience to experience that. And we saw a Prada store, which was the size of a little store, and it had Prada products in it, and nobody there. We also saw a Bucky's gas station, where they have like 100 pumps, and they have all the beef jerky and stuff in it.
Yeah, I've heard about
Well,
it.
in the middle of the desert, there's a Bucky's the size of an outhouse. It was like, I don't even think it was. I think it might have been 8 by 8, and it said Bucky's on it. And then there's a plaque there
This
saying,
maybe it was an underground tunnel.
"Yeah," and I was like, so I
That
I don't
is,
know why they bought it, but people stop at these locations to get their selfies with these with
that's
these
true.
like the Prada store and like outside of
Really?
Marfa. Yeah.
In the middle of
Be-
nowhere?
oh yeah, out in the middle of nowhere. You'll be walking down the road, and there's 12 miles of desert, and then there's this Bucky's little store outpost there.
It kind of
And
throws
it's
you off. It's like Albert
oh yeah,
Hitchcock
no,
kind
it's
of thing.
well, people drive hours away just to get their picture taken with that.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. Well, there's hopefully other stores around that you can get, or is it miles away?
It's miles away, miles away.
Wow,
Yeah, so I don't really know the logic or reasoning behind that, but I guess it's like free press. I don't know.
interesting. Well,
Yeah.
just before we continue, I want to make sure that if there's anybody new here that are starting to watch the videos, we have various videos of Ron, and Ron is the organizer and founder of the Long Walk Home organization for our supporting our veterans and supporting them from coming from, you know, from military to civilian life, right, Ron?
Hmm.
And
Yes.
we want, want to highlight Ron's walk that he's doing since when did you start, Ron, again? It was in Florida, Key
Nine,
West,
yeah, 9/11.
9/11 last year. You started, you had a little hiccup because we had the various storms during that time through Florida, and that's where you were trying to get out and make your way out
Yeah,
to the west. And we had all these little events, little events.
yeah,
But we've had, if you want to go back into some of the other interviews, they're in obviously below. So, but in the meantime, I wanted to talk to, are you okay there?
yeah.
We
No, I'm
wanted,
okay.
okay.
I just wanted to shut the heater off so that you
Okay.
don't hear the noise in the background.
All righty.
Um, one of the things that we've been doing that we didn't do in the beginning, I was taking videos every day and we were sending them somebody that was going to edit them and then put them on. So what we do now, every morning, we do a live post before we start walking. So
Nice.
you could see those. That's on my Facebook page, which is Ron Zaleski, and they could go there and check out the live
Awesome.
post.
So I'll put that link. You said it's on Facebook?
Yeah,
Okay. So if you can, I'll find the link, or if you have it and send it to me, I'll
yeah,
link it to this below this video so people can see your journey. And
yeah,
so what's been the difference, if any, from the last time we spoke a month ago? You were where in, was it in Louisiana the last time we spoke, I think,
yeah. Hmm.
right?
Well, the terrain has changed for
The
sure.
terrain. So it's been cha more
You know, in
challenging.
the it well different. Um, it's different because it's windier here because it's pretty much flat.
Mm,
So it's
interesting.
windier, so it's a little tougher, and there's less people. You know, we interact with fewer people because we're going through the deserts,
Wow. So you're like Forrest
so
Gump.
something like that,
I'm just
something like
kidding.
that. And I'm
I
wearing
just had a
sneakers
vision of
like he,
Forrest Gump, the movie, when he's like running in the desert with a
yeah,
beard.
you know. So, but he had a follow. You know what? I realized in the beginning we thought people would walk with us and do the challenges.
Yeah.
People aren't going to walk 12 miles with you. There's not too many people that can do that. And then on top of that, people that can do that and then go to work the next day, there aren't a whole lot of people that can do that. So that's
Mm,
rare. We had some in the very beginning. We
yeah.
had we had one in a couple in Florida, and
Mm,
then that was it. That's it.
wow.
We haven't. What's going to happen in the next 2 weeks? My sons are going to join me, and they're going to
Oh,
walk
that's
with me.
awesome. That's
So
excellent.
that'll be a lot. Yeah.
Oh,
So what's changed is what we're doing is making connections with people in organizations like the Elks Club. That's one of the organizations we've picked up recently that's going to be doing the training with us on the way back. So we're going to be setting up a schedule and then do the training at different organizations when we get back. It'll take 4 hours, and then they can see if they want to pursue it and become a
mm.
mentor or just use it for their own use.
So
So that's yeah,
so you're noticing that there's an increase of participation now with doing these events. in the
Well, we're getting more people to sign up because now they understand what we're doing. Because we call up, people don't pick up the phone because it's an out of state number, so they think it's a scam. So we don't interact with them basically till we show up in their parking lot. Then they
okay.
see we're real. Then we explain it to them. Then they get it. Then we say we're going to call you a month out before we come through so you can put together a group, and then we'll train the group.
And this is
So
particularly with the Elks group or
that's
is
with
it
all of them,
all groups
all of
that
them.
you encounter along the way that are
Yeah.
organizations? Okay,
Hmm.
that's great.
And what? Yeah.
So it seems like there's been a little bit of a shift in participation when it comes to, I mean, maybe this is me, but since events of last year started to change, if you know what I mean, with our political system, our administration, do you feel like there's kind of like a little bit more of a uplift in that sense?
Um, it's things are still way up in the air with a lot of
Hmm.
things, and a lot of people are so concerned about losing their job right now that they're not worried about anything else right now but that.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Because well, most people are 2 weeks away from being homeless, so you losing your job is a big deal right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. But it seems like there's been an openness of having you been part of the groups that you know, organizations that you're going along the way in your journey. Seems like people are more open than last time.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, we work to work with them, not like I'm trying to take over or do anything. I said, look, I want to work with you with what you have. If you would use our training to work with yours,
Hmm.
that would be great. It's not like, we're telling you what to do. We want to be part of it. So that way we're working together with people, not like, people have this feeling sometimes that if they get involved with us, we're going to take away from them. And no, we want to make your organization better and help support you. We're not about trying to take people away from your organization.
Uh,
We just want to give them more training and make them better for your organization.
Absolutely. So it's a win-win for both, right?
Right. Because the American Legion has Be the One. And I say,
Okay.
look, you can use this in conjunction with Be the One because, you know, most people are so hung up on awareness that they think they know about it. That's enough. No, you have to do something. Awareness doesn't save lives. It's what you do with it that saves
Yeah,
lives. And that's what we work on promoting. So
absolutely.
we're going to be, and what's happened too is there's going to be a big event for us when we hit San Diego
Okay.
because, there's a naval base there where we're going to be, part of a walk and help do some programs there as well.
Absolutely. Do you foresee obviously the veterans getting more help now? Um,
Well, I don't know with the administration because
mhm,
I mean, I know that everybody wants change as long as it doesn't affect them. And, right now people are being affected. I talked to one guy, the doctor that
mhm,
he was using through the VA no longer works there. He lost his job because he was cut. So,
mm,
we don't know until the dust settles what that's really going to
correct.
look, you know, because
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, because
I,
there's a lot of waste in the government.
absolutely. That's concerning, obviously, in any situation, you know, things have to settle in order to then determine, in what direction
Right.
that we can start again. But I'm hopeful. I mean, especially for the VA, the veterans, we want to make sure that, they're taken care of better
Hmm.
and acknowledged and take, especially when they come from some serving, after serving that they're taken care of the right way and don't have to struggle and I
Right.
think that's what you've been doing along the ways to making sure that there's transparency and people know that that's really happening and that as they're trained to fight a war, they should be help to transition back in a healthy and back into society, right?
Yeah, yeah. And one of the other things that's happened, um, I think you know that we got the use of land up in Maine. We also have the potential to use some land up in the Panhandle of Florida, but we recently got the we're going to be able to use a retreat up in Delaware to
Mm-hmm.
do our program. So we're going to have a lot of different places where we can do it, and this will enable us to have it longer, so it has a greater impact and a more lasting impact. Because the more you reinforce it, I mean, our 4 hour program has a huge impact, but if you can embellish on that and add to it, you can go deeper and have a greater impact. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's a good
And
one
yeah, so
to have a
those are other
facility.
organizations, yeah, that are
That's
going to work
excellent.
with us. Yeah.
And I think, from there on, I feel within me that it'll you've done so much groundwork already that eventually it's gonna like, you
Yeah,
know,
something's going to stick. Yeah.
absolutely. I believe so. I truly
Yeah.
believe so. That's
Me too.
great. I'm glad about that. And how long? So you say you're going to take 2 more months to get through Texas, and then from Texas, you're
Well,
heading
we're gonna hit the West Coast around the middle of May.
middle of May, meaning California.
Yeah, that's in San Diego where we do our final walk, and then
You're out of Texas in 11 days.
yeah, we'll be out of Texas in 11 days, and then on the way back we'll probably take around 2 months to make it back to Florida because we're going to drive back the same route and go to organizations that will do the training. So then on the way back, we'll be doing the training the whole way.
Oh, excellent. So you're going to be driving back and just popping into all the
Yeah.
contacts you made.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, cool. That-
So, and I used to just think Mexican food was tortillas and tacos and burritos, and I've found that they have other dishes other than chopped meat, tomatoes, and onions. So
So you become a dedicated.
no, I'm not dedicated, but I found stuff that I like. You know, because otherwise people say I'm going to take you for the best Mexican meal you ever had, and it was chopped meat, tomatoes, and onions with guacamole. I'm like, yeah, it was a different name on something different, but I found out they had other dishes.
Oh, absolutely. When you
So
get it
thank
into
you,
the
God.
traditional Mexican, you know, you'll see other dishes where like they're really good.
Yeah. Well, the best ones I've found so far for me is at the Sprite gas stations where they
Really,
have they have like a buffet of Mexican food and
really.
you can pick out certain things. So I found something I like. So it's been a lot better because I was getting pretty tired of.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, you're really I admire you because, you know, you've been doing this for quite some time. You've been, very, I guess, physical athletic, right? And and I don't mean to put you like in an older bracket, but you're probably even healthier than I am right now with your walking and
Well, I can eat
activities
whatever
and
I want because of the walks.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's my
How are your
story, and I'm
feet? You're
sticking
not
to
doing
it.
it barefoot like you did last time, right?
No, I'm wearing sneakers. It's
You're wearing,
my feet. They get hot, but they don't hurt.
uh,
Then they're getting soft. I got to tell you.
they're getting soft. Will
Oh
you,
yeah, there's
what do
no
you mean?
callus. I
No
don't have
callus?
calluses on no. I mean, for me to walk in the parking lot now bothers me a little. You know,
Okay.
that's how soft they've gotten. But,
Okay.
but I figured, I'm allowed. You know,
Yeah. Do you use any special shoes that work for you or just regular sneakers?
just some regular
Yeah.
sneakers and flip flops.
And you taking turns with the other
Yeah, with Omar. And
Omar?
it's funny. since I'm 74, my vocabulary is not up to the present vocabulary.
You think-
So I'll say something thinking one thing, and the person I'm talking to takes it another way. Like,
Oh my gosh.
we're in this town. We're in, where the heck was it? Alpine. I think it was, well, could have been Alpine or wherever, Texas. And I'm telling a guy that's sitting outside a restaurant at the little table eating, and I gave him my card. They said, we're the long walk home. We're doing this and that. And they says, oh, and my partner's walking into town.
Oh.
He looks at me and then he gives me the card back and says, don't bother me. And I'm like, what's the problem? And I realize Omar says, he laughs at me. He says, the guy thinks you're gay. He says, you're kidding me. Because the vocabulary is different.
I'm telling you, that's a good point, Ron, because it's true. I mean, there's so many words that have been changed. The context of the word, the definition
Yeah.
has been changed. That is true. You're having this gap in between. You're having a
Well,
conversation with someone that's take, and even so, if even if the word partner would have been that, obviously he seems like he was homophobic, I guess.
I guess. I mean, he definitely was pretty upset, you know.
Oh my
But
goodness.
and it's funny, when I was a kid, I remember my aunt saying, I'll blow you to a soda. And back then I meant I'm buying you a soda, in
Oh,
her era. In mine, it was just changing, and also they say, oh, you want a fag, and that was a cigarette. Now it's
oh my gosh. And gay. Gay used to be what? You're happy? Are you gay? Right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I used to be
So
happy.
yeah, so it's
Rainbows used to be just rainbows. If you know
well,
what.
I still send those, and what's the problem here? I'm like, so I send a rainbow and a unicorn in a text message, and I think it's rainbows and unicorns. No, no,
No,
you
you're
don't do that
gay.
one.
You're part of the
Um,
LGBTQ
Jeez,
W, X, Y, and Z.
I'm like, somebody was saying, I thought there was 16 different pronouns. Somebody said, and then I heard there was 30 something. I'm like, how can you get that many different? What are you, a cat? I mean, it's only male and female. How many pronouns can you get out of that? It's only two.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh, I'm gonna.
but talking about that.
It's funny now, but it's just mind blowing. When you cannot have a hence where we are now. I know we're going probably a little bit out of subject, but hence how we are where we are now. How can we communicate?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, and well, it's interesting. We went to a church that I call the Rainbow Church because they had all the pronouns,
What?
and they were upset. They were upset about if you called them a man or a woman or whatever. And then I thought about it. Why would they be so upset? But I remembered when I was younger and not sure who I was, I would be upset if you called me a girl, and I'd be in a fist fight with you. But if somebody calls me a girl now, I'm like, I'm comfortable with who I am. I know who I am. So I don't care what you call me, because
Mhm.
if you don't land on the right one, it doesn't mean anything to me because I know who I am. But when you're not comfortable with who you are, you're not even sure what you are or who you are, yeah, you're going to get upset. Or also, it's like they feel it's disrespectful. But how can you be disrespectful if they look one way and they want to be called something else? So, the tolerance in this country, people want freedom for themselves, but not for you. And, freedom is a two-way street.
Yeah,
And freedom also is about responsibility.
correct.
And it seems that we're getting so, we don't want to take responsibility for our actions. We're entitled.
Yeah,
And that entitlement is hurting us. And this lack of respect for one another's freedom. The comedians used to be like in the old days with the kings. A comedian was the barometer, and the king could hear it through the jester and he would get an idea where his people were. Now a comedian says something and he loses his job, he gets banned. uh, it's kind of a sign of the times. We're killing the canary, and it's like, so how can we, why should people be worried about veterans when they're so worried about me? What am I getting at? Are you respecting me? Instead of, let's respect one another. Let's take care of one another. I used to think this Oprah with, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it was like a lot of kumbaya garbage. But, I realize it does take all of us to help. Because if all of us are involved, nobody's going to slip through the cracks. But so many people slip through the cracks, like with veterans, because we think, well, somebody else should be doing that. The government should be doing it. No, we're the government. We should be taking care of veterans. We should be taking care of our own.
Mm-hmm.
But we think, oh, he's not mine. No, he's an American. He's part of your group, your team, your tribe. But since there's so many of us, it gets diluted. Well, he doesn't look like me. He doesn't come from my neighborhood, and the division in this country is killing us. It's hurting us. And yeah,
it's done brilliantly in a way to do so. I mean, this
yeah,
just didn't come out of nowhere. This
no,
came from somewhere. We didn't have that. I mean, I'm a bit younger than you, but we didn't have this growing up. If you were gay, for example, that was fine. That's all we needed to, that's the only thing that we needed
yeah,
to use in order to quote unquote identify your sexual attraction to somebody else. You're gay, right? That was
yeah.
it. But now that there's such a dissection of everything, and it's purposely done to confuse you if you, and especially if your foundation, you don't, like you say, you don't know who you are.
But
If
it's
you're not
yeah,
grounded, right? Any
yeah,
little any little thing that you're going through, you need to identify. You need to put a label on it and say, oh, it's this. You know, I need
right.
I need to call myself this. I'm categorized as this. I have this, you know. So all that creates division, and it's very simple. It's about trying to be centered within the heart and the mind and be
Right.
healthy there. So then your outer perspective can be something more cohesive, you know?
Right. Well, also the division makes it easier for us to be controlled
Absolutely.
because then we need
Bingo.
somebody to protect us. Oh, you're going to protect us, from all these other people. So,
Yeah.
and then it's pits us against one another so that we need these politicians because they're going to keep us together. They're going to protect us. And no, it's up to us to accept one another, you know?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
going back to the vets, I mean, they're suffering more because of all these divisions. I mean, it's already divided, and then we're creating more subdivisions of
Yeah.
things, and then when people see others, if you're not, like I said, grounded, you're gonna categorize them. Immediately you're
Yeah.
going to dissect them, categorize them, put them in a box here, put them in a box there, because your mind or your heart is already convinced that this is the way it is. So
Yeah.
if somebody says a word, like the word Mr. T,
Yeah.
just to give you an example, people go cahoots just by saying that word, or by saying another word, it's like they lose their cognitive ability and their emotions to react. It's just like it's a weird, really weird situation, you know. So we're in very interesting times. Let's say that.
Yeah. 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 But and it seems we look for our differences instead of what we have in common. We have
Absolutely.
more in common
Yeah,
than we do not. And basically, people
absolutely.
are simple. We try to make everything so complicated. Oh, you couldn't possibly understand. Nobody understands. No, we've all been where you've been. Trust me, we understand. Maybe we've done it a different way, And I've learned that I don't know unless I've experienced it. So I don't know what it's like being gay. I have an understanding, and that's it. And but I'm open, and I try to be respectful, and compassionate and stuff, because you know I may not be gay or whatever, but I've been put down because I'm Polish, and back then
Wow.
we were put down, and my ancestry is we were over 800 years as slaves.
Wow.
We were in slavery, but since we looked like so many other Europeans, we don't get put in a box, you know. But it's, we have to stop looking for these differences.
Hmm.
I have more in common with everybody around me than I do differences.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we, yeah. So that's why I think, that it really does take a village. It really does take a people to raise it, to help, to raise, to help them make that transition, because thank God not all of us go through that. I mean, every soldier doesn't want anybody else to go through what they went through. You wouldn't want your children to go through that horror, your loved ones to see that. You don't want that for them. So, but they make it like we're so different. No, everybody has post-traumatic stress, only a different degree. And we've had an experience that you won't have, and we hope you never have, because that's just a whole other layer, because we're not made to kill one another.
Correct.
And then to go against everything you're taught and believe,
Yeah.
it does an ember on you, and especially how you get treated when you get home,
Yeah, that's
you
that's
know?
what's
Yeah.
that's what's
So it's,
ironic. That's
yeah,
what's twisted. How do you not welcome? I mean, I'm not saying everybody, but how do you twist that thing around? You serve, for your freedoms, but then you come back and you're not treated mostly most likely like how you should be treated.
yeah, yeah. And then, yeah. So it's, but people think, like the analogy I like to use is, because civilians say, get over it. Like, you take a person, you raise them for 17 years to be good and loving, then you train him to kill for 12 weeks. Then you put him in a life death situation. He kills. Then you take him out of that and leave all his weapons behind for the enemy he fought. And you abandon everybody that you said you would protect because they protected you. And then they get killed. Then you come home and they say, get over it. It's about money and politics. How do you expect that person to feel? How do you expect them to live with it? And they say, get over it. So how I used to get really angry when they say that to me. And then I say, okay, you drive a car, right? And they say, yeah. And I says, okay, accidents happen, people get killed. Oh, yeah, yeah. So I says, okay, you're driving your car and your whole family's in it, and you're in this horrific accident and everybody gets killed but you. And it might be your fault. We'll never know. Get over it. Things happen. They're dead. They're gone. Forget about it. You're not going to forget about it. So then they can start to relate, because it's a similar experience, but it's not quite the same exact thing, because on top of ours is a moral thing on top of that.
Yeah.
So that's, so the more I try to relate to people, because we're all similar and we've had similar experiences, then they can start to understand it. But when I was getting angry, it didn't serve anybody. It didn't
No.
help them. It didn't help me. I'd get angry and they just think I'm an a-hole
Yeah.
because I'm yelling and screaming at them. And then, but the more that I try to be compassionate and understand, because where I come from, the strong take care of the weak. And when you can understand that they don't understand, and you can explain it to them in a kind way so that they understand it, then you have a common ground. Otherwise, we think, oh, the veterans are different than the civilians. No, we just had a different experience. We're just like you. And if you went through what we went through, you'd be the same way. So, that's what I work to do. And I'm tired of awareness. I want
I
action,
know. I
you
know.
know, and that's what we work to do.
And I hope it changes because, what we're getting, and this might trigger people or whatever, but this is my personal opinion. The media, the means, the platforms that are out there just talking at this point, we know a lot of us already know that things were not the way they told us it was. So let's put information out on TV. It was already controlled and it's already used to show one side of the story. Let's use it now for the real stuff, meaning, for our veterans that are coming home, how to treat them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They don't, this publicity doesn't get done because the ones that have the means control of the the viewers is not interested in that, so that I hope and pray that it shifts, to better inform people, because if that's the medium that we've used to do the opposite, that's what I wish eventually shifts, is where do we now put the attention for our people, viewers, to see? And I see a little shift going on. It's very tiny, but it's getting there, changing the perspective of people through the same means of showing them what really we need to focus on, you know, and bring the society back together, instead of using those means to create all these divisions that they're surfacing right now, and it's becoming very obvious how much so, so
Mm-hmm.
imagine turning the TV on and seeing, hey, good morning, it's a beautiful day, instead of
Yeah.
watching, there's a car accident, there's people being killed, and that's going to happen. But what's happening here in this moment, in this place, in our community, what can we do to uplift the community and and show a different view of something, because what we see, what we feel, is what we continue to propagate within our lives in an indirect or direct way. um, wouldn't that
Well,
be?
let's. I think that would be awesome. And what I think, let's say the media never changes. Let's say it's always going to be the way it is.
Mhm.
So what am I going to do different now? So I don't watch the news. I listen to NPR once in a while. I'll see a headline, but I don't read into it because I don't know what's really true. Even when
Yeah,
I watch podcasts, I don't really know it's true, but I know it's true around me. In all these little towns, people are supportive, they're loving,
yeah,
they're compassionate.
yeah,
And I'm not watching the news. I'm looking at people every day that are around me.
yeah, yeah,
And that's what's
yeah,
real. And when I am good and nice and compassionate, listen to them, I give them permission to do the same thing, because people think, oh, that's weakness. No, that is strength. That is strength.
yeah,
People say, oh, I'm not afraid I have a gun. Well, obviously you're afraid if you have to carry a gun all the time and you're afraid of
yeah,
everybody around you. But when you can, go up to a stranger you see struggling and say, hey, are you okay? Can I help you? That's strength. Most people won't do it because, oh, it's, whatever, because they listen to the media where less than 1% of the population gets 95% of the press. So, so I don't watch it because,
hmm
my days are a whole lot nicer and easier because
yeah,
my life is real with the guy next to me that I meet in the grocery store, and I put a smile on his face by saying, "Hey, boy, that's a nice, shirt you have on," or "Oh,
yeah,
that's a great tattoo." Whatever, that's real. The
correct.
media is not real, you know.
And
And
it's sad, yeah,
yeah, that's what I try to go with. And the more we do that, because like I said, I'm America, you're America, and it's up to us to make the difference. If we stop doing that, the media is going to be what the media is going to be. They get paid and they have an
hmm
agenda, and I get it, but I don't have to be part of it. My blood pressure is fine. I don't need to raise it
yeah,
because I used to watch the news and just get
yeah,
bent out of shape and
yeah,
get angry.
yeah,
What good, people say, oh, you got to know what's going on. Well, I don't watch the news, and the world has not changed. It might have changed for the better because I don't watch it.
It's very,
because I'm out
yeah,
there, yeah, helping somebody because I'm not influenced by the news that this guy's going to mug me,
that's
you
very
know?
powerful. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very, I mean, we didn't have, I mean, how long ago, a few decades ago, we didn't have it. We didn't have the TV. It was just like the news
yeah,
was our neighborhood, our family, our friends,
yeah, yeah,
that was your reality. It wasn't imposed by, you know, a TV that was obviously hijacked and put out what they wanted to put out, and obviously hence where we are. But I think that's exactly what we need to do is just to take control of our decisions and to put our big pants on and say, I'm not gonna
yeah,
watch that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not, that doesn't resonate. That doesn't sound like it's something compassionate and good for myself and others. So you have to have your compass of
yeah.
what's good here, you
Well,
know?
also, yeah, but what I've learned also is when I get rid of one thing, it creates a void and it's going to be filled by something. And I would get a rush from watching the news and getting angry. It gets you like, and you get a feeling.
Yeah, so it's like a drug.
Right. So I don't want that feeling anymore.
Mhm.
But you have to wean yourself off it
Yeah.
because when I started doing that, it was a little off balance
Yeah.
because I wasn't getting this rush of anger all the time.
Yeah.
You know? So, you have to look at that. I mean, I do a lot of introspective stuff because I
Yeah.
realize my world is created by me. How I see the world,
Hmm.
I create it. I can see the world like I told a joke on my Facebook thing that there was his father had two boys, and one was really optimistic and the other one was really pessimistic. And so for Christmas, he got the pessimistic one the best bike ever. And then the optimistic one, he bought a bag of horse manure. And the pessimistic one opened up the bike and he says, "Oh, I wish there was a different color." And the one that was the optimist opened up the bag of horse manure and says, "Oh, I got a horse, but he got away." So, how you see the world is going to be either beautiful or not. Like with the Buddhist, what's
Yeah.
this town like? It's probably just like the town you just came from, you know, full of angry people or happy people. It's how you see the world.
Yeah. It's
So,
definitely it's always starts within, and we have to be the ones to be the example.
yeah,
That's the only way you can, affect others to be the example of what you want to see, right?
right. And this advice is worth millions of dollars, and we're giving it to you free. And how many times have I paid for something, but it didn't have value till I paid money for it. But you know what the value is that I give it my time and attention, and it means something to me. Back then, I paid it because I wanted a magic bullet, the secret word. But it's all boils down to me changing my perspective.
Yeah. That's
So,
the only person that counts right now,
yeah,
and the rest follows. But we,
yeah,
we have people trying to change outside, and it doesn't happen that way. It's frustrating because you want to, like, fix this, fix that, help him, but then you're like, wait a second, has to, if I don't do me, I'm just going to be putting band-aids out there, and
bro. And also, I realized if I help you because I want to get something out of you or I expect you to change, I'm going to be disappointed. But if I'm doing it because I want to help you and whatever you do with what I do is it's up to you
yeah.
and I have no expectations, then I'm happy because I'm doing it for me. I used to think that's so selfish. But you know what? I'm doing it to make me happy because it makes me happy to put a smile on your face or to give you this and that hope it brings you great joy.
Yeah.
And let it go at that because,
Yeah.
like with your children or your loved ones, you do stuff for them because you want to do it, not
Mm.
because you feel guilty or you have to. But when I do things because I want to, like this walk, I don't have to do this walk. I don't
Mhm.
know anybody, anything. I get to do this.
Mhm.
And when I meet somebody and I put a smile on their face or just help them a little bit, that lights me up like a Christmas tree. I got everything I want. I never used to understand that, I got more out of it than he did, or, helping somebody helps me. And I'm used to think that, how is that possible? But I get it because I'm actually doing it for me because it brings me joy,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. If it feels good for you,
Yeah, like
the
when you
right.
went to prison with us.
What was that?
Like when you went to prison with us.
Yes.
To
Oh,
bring
wow.
them joy is like,
Wow. Yeah. That was, yeah, that was special.
yeah.
That was special. And I hope I can join you someday in the
Oh,
future.
you will. When I
Again.
come back, well, I'm going to get into prisons closer to home so that you won't have to do a 3 hour ride one way.
That's all right. It was worth it. It was way worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just changes your perspective. It just shifts you. It really does. It's a different level.
Yeah.
But we're grateful what you do, Ron. So keep it up.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And I will put your links below on Facebook
Please.
and your website, and hopefully my humble channel. We have a little following, so they send you regards always, and
Well, thank you. Thank you.
we'll keep maybe in another month or so. We'll see where you're at, and
Okay, that would be
where you get
awesome.
to California, and I can't wait. I feel that your hard work is going to blossom, you know,
It
way up
is. It
there.
is. It is.
It is. Well, thank you so much. It was a lot of it was fun today. I enjoyed it,
Thank you.
and continue your walk and be safe, and all the
I
best to
got backup. We don't have to worry.
you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. We're good.
All right, Ron. Is there anything else you want to say before we close up?
That I hope that, your followers take a look at our website and take the challenge because we help veterans and their families, and this is for everybody. And consider it. Take a look. You don't have to become a mentor, but take a look at it and see what you get out of it, and if you can use it as tools to help you with somebody. Because people think that somebody said to me, "Why didn't he call me?"
Mm,
That person, when he's in that deep dark hole, he's not thinking anything but his pain. If he could think about you, he wouldn't be in that hole. So it's up to you, not them. It's up to you when you think your friend is struggling to call him up, and just don't let him. Just don't say, "Oh, how you doing?" He says, "Oh, I'm fine." "Oh, okay." No, say, "No, really, what's going on?"
hmm
Don't talk about the football games and the weather. Say, what's going on, and then maybe share something about yourself that's really intimate so that you give them permission to do the same thing. Or just say, "No, really, tell me what's going on. I care about you. What's going on? What can I do to help?"
Yeah.
And that's what it is. People think that, "Oh, well, when the guy's in trouble, he knows that I care about him." He doesn't know that because he is suffering in so much pain. He doesn't think anybody cares. Nobody sees him. So yeah, these to say, "Why didn't he call? Why didn't you call? Why didn't you call?"
We have to reach out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're all connected. Let's make that connection stronger. That's why I get the kumbaya. Before I didn't get what that meant. I mean, I thought it was just some hokey pokey stuff. But yeah, reach out.
Reach out and touch someone,
Yeah,
for
I
that.
love it when you talk dirty.
Reach out. Well, that was a commercial, so don't get to.
Hey, I like how you said
God, you're funny. Look at your smile. Oh, Ron. All righty. Well, my friend, thank you for what you do.
it. Thank you. Thank you for.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate it. My best to you. We'll keep in touch
Okay, you
till
got it.
next time.